Well, it was early in the morning, and I got a call from John, and John said she was dead. I said, what do you mean she's dead? Well, she said, he told me she was in a car wreck and she ran into a tree. Next morning, I went out. Oh, yes.
Okay.
It was still smoldering and everything, okay? And I waited a little bit, but naturally I was there. You know, it was bad weather that day. It was cold, yeah. And so there it was, and looked over. They tried to hold me back. I said, I'm her father, and I went over and I seen the body in the car, you know.
What was that like? What was that like for you?
Huh?
What was that like for you?
Terrible. You know, was burned up, and the keys were even burned up, was in the ignition.
When they said, right there at the press conference, that's the first you heard, he was arrested.
No, there was a woman, a trooper, and two other troopers came, and that's when they told me, okay, they're going to have the meeting at 4 o'clock, okay, the next day. That was the day prior, before.
Okay. It was on Monday,
It was the day before.
They said they picked him up and...
And I said, what, is he incarcerated? Is he in jail? Because, you know, you can get out on bail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They said he's in jail.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what made me feel good.
Yeah, he can't...
If he'd have been out on bond, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know. The authorities knew who did it. I knew who did it. And the burns on the face when she was out in the funeral home, laid out, he was there. And I said, what are you doing with them burns? And not just me. He got away from me. And so my niece has seen it. Her mother's. We had a meeting with Yelovich, okay? He was the original district attorney. When it was over, he said to me, Mr. Smith, he said, what do you think about extraditing him, bringing him up here? He said, you think we have enough evidence? I said, look, that isn't up to me, it's up to you. He said, well, I would like to know what you feel. I said, well, if you don't have enough concrete evidence, no. I want it, sure, you know what I mean? He said, I appreciate that. It should have been solved a long time ago. It should have been solved. They had it. They knew about the burns. His mother was the only alibi that he had. What they went for. And she said that he was watching TV. I almost gave up. And then I was going to do something rash. I was going to get on and kill him. I was going to do it before I died. Yes, and it hurts me that other people, cold cases and everything, don't give up. Be perseverant, be, you know, a little erratic like I was, and keep pushing. Because the authorities out there, I mean, I could tell you things that...
If your daughter could hear you right now, what would you tell her?
Well, honey, your death is not in vain. I vowed that it would be solved, at least. We would find there's more than one. It just isn't John, there has to be more. To look at your grave, I mean, it's hard. And like I stated, closure we just hope for. And the ones that are responsible are gonna pay, and they're gonna pay. I vowed before I died that she would go and be avenged. Here's to you, honey. If anybody's in heaven, you're in heaven. Boy, yes, her and I went fishing together, and she likes sports. She's never was an athletic person too much, but she likes sports. She liked softball. She used to watch the game. She sometimes played. But she was not an athlete.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not per se. She wasn't.
What did she like to do?
What's that, sir?
What did she like to do? Did she have games she played, or...
she liked to dance, and she loved music. She loved country music. And she was very religious, and compassionate. She was a beautiful kid. She was a real compassionate woman. Married to John, yes. And she was in love with him, and they had a hard time at the beginning of their life. To begin with, they had a hard time. I tried to help them out, which I did a little bit, okay.
You mean they had money trouble?
Monetary, money-wise, yes. And So after that and everything else, they finally got a house that they tried to go and make a living with, okay, and live a half decent life, and it won't be in vain. I love that. This is my priority in life. My priority.
Seeing the conviction.
My priority. I don't want the death penalty. That's too easy for him. I want him incarcerated. I want him put in jail. I mean, and suffer like she did. She would never have stopped unless she trusted him. She would never have stopped for nobody except him and me. That woman would, my daughter would never have stopped on that road excepting for him.
You know.
But other than that, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.